Hello, welcome back to another video of X++ programming language. In this video we will discuss about the default values of different type of variable in X++ programming language. So as you can see in this program we have different variable, but in this code you can see we don't have initialize any value. For example, integer variable, as you can see it is integer 64, and this one is a real, this one boolean, this one is date, time of day, container, and the GUID variable, right? And we have not initialized. So understanding default value is important in programming for several key reasons. For example, preventing the errors from uninitialized variables. When variables are declared but not initialized, they automatically receive the default values in many programming language. For example, in X++ it gets its default value. Also in case of Java, C#, in these programming languages, variables get value automatically. Okay, so these are called actually default value. Without awareness of these defaults, programmer might inadvertently work with unexpected values, leading to logic error or incorrect program behavior. For instance, in X++, if an integer variable defaults to 0 and the logic assumes it should be positive, the application might fail under specific conditions. So that's why it's important to understand default values. Second point that is important for the memory optimization. Knowing the default values helps developers optimize the memory usage. For example, in X++, a container defaults to empty, and understanding this helps ensure containers are only populated when necessary, reducing the memory overhead. Number 3 that you have to remember, code clarity and maintenance. Default values can help make code cleaner and more readable by reducing the need to explicitly initialize variables in trivial cases. Understanding these defaults allow developer to write more concise code while maintaining the correctness. However, if the developer are unaware of the default values, they might include redundant initializations that clutter the code. Also, you need to remember one more point, that avoiding the undefined behavior. Some languages like C do not provide the default values for variables, so leading to undefined behavior if they are accessed uninitialized. In contrast, languages like X++ provide specific default values. Understanding this distinction between languages ensure safer code and reducing the risk of unpredictable results in multi-language projects. One more important that you need to ensure the correct logic flow. Default values are often assumed in conditional check or loops. If a developer expects a variable to have a specific default value and it doesn't, it could break the logic flow of the program. For example, a default boolean value of false could mean that a certain operation never executes if checks depending on the variable being true. So that's why you need to understand the default value is essential for creating reliable, efficient, and maintainable code. It allows developers to prevent unintended behavior, optimize resources, and write cleaner program, particularly in the environment like X++ and other object-oriented language. So in this particular section I just declared different types of variables, and in this part I'm just printing those variables but without initialization. So if I'll print it, then it will produce with its default value. So if I try to execute this particular code, it will produce these below results. Okay, so as you can see we have total 9 printf statement, so that's why it's giving total 9 values. And as you can see, the default value for the integer 0. Likewise, if we go a little bit above, So let me copy it and then I'll show it in the notepad. Okay, so let me paste it over here. So default value of the for the integer is 0, default value for the integer 64-bit also 0, default value of the real value is 0.00. for the string you can see it's double quote, and inside it it's having no value, that means it's a blank value. And why this double colon is coming here? Because I have given a colon over here, so that's why it's given. But ideally it should be a blank value for the string. In case of boolean it will be false. For the date you can see it's not giving anything. For the time it is showing 12 AM. For the container also you can see nothing is there, it's empty. And for the GUID you can see that it is showing 000 like this. And if you want to know more about GUID, it's the globally unique identifier, and a GUID is an integer that can be used across all the computers and networks. Whenever unique identifier is required, it's unlikely that the number will be duplicated. The valid GUID have the few characteristics. For example, it must have the 32 hexadecimal digits, and it must have 4 dash characters. That means you can see that 1, 2, 3 and 4 it's having the 4 dash, and in the first one it contains the 8 character. After that it's having 4, then 4, then 4, and after that it will have the 12, right? 12 digits, and it is having the bracket braces, and at the beginning and the end of the string are optional. For example, so it must have a total either 36 or 38 characters depending on whether the braces are added or not. The hexadecimal digit can contain the uppercase and lowercase or mixed characters, so it can contain from the lowercase a to f and the uppercase a to f. The size of the GUID is 16 bytes or 128 bits. Okay, so you can use different type of conversion methods for GUID. For any type to GUID, GUID to a string, or a string to GUID, so you can use all these methods to convert the GUID. In this video we will talk about the time of day. Let me discuss about something for the time of day. So the time of day data type, it's an integer type of data type. It represents the number of seconds that have passed since midnight, and you can see here is the my time is there, right? And if we'll try to see it, as you can see, I want to see it as a time format, so that's why I have used a parameter time separated colon and time format AM/PM. So that's why it is showing in the colon format, and it is showing as a AM. So this one is the default value for the time of day. Okay, so that's it for this video. If you have any question regarding default values, you can ask it in the comment section. We will try to resolve your problem as soon as possible.